Okay, here's a little troubleshooting tip with the Centro 22. If you get to where it does this, where it's grinding, that's not a good thing. Where you can't get it to crank or whatever. This is one of the reasons why I stopped using this machine. If there's much tension or resistance on the machine, this is what you got. And then it'll go back to doing okay. But see how it kind of grinds a little bit? Well, what's happening is, if you look right here, this yarn is not dropping onto the pins properly whenever it does it. And if you pay attention, we'll see if we can get it to do it here again. When it does it, see there, it's stuck. If you just push that yarn down on the pins, if I can get it down on there, then it'll keep going. See that? So it's just that the yarn's not dropping properly. So if you have one of these 22s and you're finding that that's happening, it's most likely that the yarn is not dropping onto the pin. And I would suggest using a little tool that you get like when you have a regular loom. A loom pick will work wonders for getting in there, and just like you can have it handy and just pop that down every time that happens. It's kind of a pain. See, it did it again. And I think I probably didn't help my gears when I was doing. I used a really heavy, chunky weight yarn in this before, and I kind of forced it. So I think I very well could have stripped the gearing a little bit. But if that happens to you, that's just something to look for, is just if that yarn is not properly dropping on the pin. So hopefully that helps. Okay, the Centro 22 is a good machine for problems, so it'll be good to show you some things. See here how my tension's a little wonky? I don't know if you can tell, but see how it's kind of wonky? I may have more than one here, but here is a tuck stitch. And this is what it looks like. There's like a double in there. I'm going to show you really quick how to fix that, hopefully. I'm going to, and there might be more than one. I'm going to look at what number, and it's actually, it looks like it's the number 1 pin. So I'm going to crank until my number 1 pin is like right here, if it'll let me do it. This machine is so problematic. This is why I bought the Addy. Now, I don't have this problem with my Centro, but I definitely have it with this one. Now, if I use like a 3-weight yarn in here where there was no resistance at all, I think it would be fine. Okay, so we've got our, and we'll see if I can zoom in here to show you. We've got our number 1 pin just started up here. I am going to drop off, and it's hard with those ears. I'm going to pull this up and pull it off, and I'm going to try not to let it go too far, but I'm going to let those, let me get this here. I'm going to get situated so I can show you. I'm going to let the stitches, I'm going to pull them out until we get to that tucked stitch, which is right there. So then I take my crochet hook and I come from underneath, and I'm going to get it in there like that. And then I'm going to bring this over, the next rung over that, what's on the crochet hook, and then I'm going to pull that through. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to bring this one over and pull this through. And then pull this over and pull this through. And you want to do this in order of the rungs. Like, try not to get them twisted, because if you do, and you can use your loom pick for this, try not to snag your yarn like I'm doing right there, it looks like. Oh, I've got my, see this? I've got my crochet hook through that yarn. I didn't mean to do that, so we're going to pull that out. I'll hold on to that. I'm going to get that. See how I split that? I'm going to get back underneath there. And see, this is just kind of a pain. I know that if you get tuck stitches, you can fix them. I mean, you can see here, we're going to fix them. But if you get a lot of them, I just suggest starting over or maybe trying another yarn, because it can get really frustrating really fast. Unless you have a certain yarn that you want to use and you're dead set on it, There we go. We have that. And then what you need to do, and this is a little challenging, you need to get that back over the pin and then down on the pegs. And then you can continue to crank. And the tension will straighten out when it's off. But I'm looking at this and there may be, I'll look here, there may be a couple other tuck stitches. We shall see. But hopefully that was helpful. Okay, I want to show something really quick. I was just getting ready to show how to cast on the Addy 46. Here, the Addy King Size Express. And it wouldn't go. Like, I was trying to do it and it wouldn't go. I got to here and it won't go, won't go. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with it? And I forgot. I probably did a panel the last time I did it. So the little switch over here. So this is something that is absolutely normal. If you can't get your machine to go, make sure it's set on the circular setting and not the panel setting, because otherwise it will not move forward. So it's totally normal for it to not go past that point if it's in the panel setting. So just make sure it's in the circular setting and you are good to go. I have a tip when casting off on the Addy machines. I found this out after a little while. I was having some issues where when I would crank it, it seemed a little strange. Now, when I cast off, I released just a few stitches at a time and then pick those up. So you can see here I'm starting with my tail, my cast off tail, and then I'm going to go through and pick those up. But as I'm cranking this, if I leave this yarn keeper open, it actually kind of seems like it hits or interferes with the needles. So I always just make sure to close that so it's not a problem. It just seemed like as I was going, if I leave that open, it kind of hits it, or seems like it is anyway. So that's a tip there. I wanted to show you another thing. When you're casting off, sometimes you'll go through and you'll split your stitch like this and it's starting to pull off. Something I do, I mean, right here I can probably just let go of it and redo it, but I just get another needle and pull up and get through all of those stitches or all of the fibers and then put it through. Because what'll happen if you leave that split, if you leave that in the yarn split like that and you go to cinch your hat or whatever you're making at the end, it can knot up. So you want to make sure that when you're casting off, you're getting underneath and getting the full stitch or the full yarn, if I could speak, and not splitting the yarn.